Welcome to another episode of Krazy Knights, and I'm one of your co-hosts, Jamie McNichol, and joining me always is David Fowler. How you going, David?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Jamie. How have you been?
Yeah, it's been pretty hectic my end.
Yeah.
Been organising some other interviews for our show, and yeah, last night was another big night as well. And yeah, didn't get to bed till about 4 in the morning, but yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
All good, but there's been a lot of movement going around on our show. There's been a lot of talks about the Steve Cornell episode. We want to applaud
Oh, pardon me.
oh, there he goes, but
uh,
no, there's been a lot of talk about the Steve Cornell. Steve Cornell messaged me and he loved it and laughing his head off. He's pissing his head off and all that. So yeah,
yeah. Oh, it's good to hear. I listened to it back after you did the interview, and I'd say it was awesome interview actually.
yeah,
Um, yeah, a lot of great stuff to say. And seemed like a really nice guy too.
yeah, and it was a very informative type of episode too. There's a lot of stories and a lot of history, or I should say history, involved in it, and
Mm-hmm.
thought I'd come at a different angle and don't ask the same question twice that some other interviewers have done in the past. So I thought, why not come from a different spectrum, and that's what we did. And he loved it. There was a bit of um, a comment on our page. I won't go into it, but yeah, those comments are not needed, but we'll give it as a compliment. It was a nice complimentary comment from a certain person on our page, and yeah, that person just needs to pull his head in. Um, it's okay to say those things, but unfortunately, we're not going to tolerate any crap on our Facebook page. If you do, well, there's a warning to everyone. If you post silly comments like that, they will be blocked and you will be permanently deleted from the Facebook page. So you can say whatever you want, but please show the respect, and that's all we ask for. So we'll just leave it as that. We won't talk about what it was and what was actually said. If you want to read it, just go on the page and you can see it yourself. But David, I want to hand it to you. See if you've been checking on our Facebook page. Is there anything for Mug of the Week for this segment?
I'm actually looking at it right now.
I know that I posted.
Not just yet. Uh, no funny comments.
I think there was a funny photo. I put two up about Thanksgiving, and there was another one about the Family Guys. Um, they sacked Brian the dog from the Family Guys show and brought in another dog named Vinny. And I
Yeah,
thought,
oh yeah, that one. Yeah, I can see that one now. The meme about Vinny. I know what will piss our fans off. You.
I thought that was funny. I reckon that was
Uh,
awesome. Um,
no, that was I had a bit of a chuckle at that one myself
yeah,
when you put it up.
that one was a good one. So I
uh,
reckon that go into the mug of the month, but that's a mug of the week one. And there was another one with Thanksgiving. It was all the farm animals in different makeup. There was another one for Happy Thanksgiving for our American friends over there. So there was another one that I put up. But I do want to say I did get something a couple of weeks ago. I didn't share. There was another mug of the week was about a website that's been putting up different rumors, and it's a completely ludicrous website. If you go there, I
oh yeah,
have to
yeah,
mention the
that.
fans. It's ridiculous. I'll give him credit for being a comedian because it's the most funniest thing I ever seen. It is
Mm.
crap, and the mug of the week this week goes to that Peter Chris was named the sexiest man alive in 2013.
Yeah,
So we'll put
I
that in.
mean, is a good guy, but
Yeah,
yeah.
and
For
Gene
I
Simmons
suppose
goes.
I suppose if you're looking at it for a guy who's about 68 years old,
Yeah, the other mug of
yeah.
the week was Gene Simmons was going to be the next lead guy for James Bond. So that was another good
Well,
one.
you never know.
Yeah. But no,
Look,
please
can you
keep them
imagine
coming in.
saying?
Fans, please.
Could you imagine saying, "My name's Bond, James Bond."
And his tongue blows up. We put like a hang on it like he did on Wanted Dead or Alive and blew his head off. But no, fans, please Give us some funny comments on that. You've seen some of the things that we just mentioned. That's what we want. We want something funny, but also um, very light-hearted. And you can pick on me, you can pick on Dave, but please show the respect. I'll laugh at anything.
Funny comments. Nothing
Yeah.
slanderous or nasty.
Yeah. So I reckon the mug of the week will have to go to that that photo of the Family Guy dog, and yeah, we'll put that in the mug of the week, and that will go in for the mug of the month. So we put all those kiss related. I thought it was kiss related. It was the kiss statement, but it wasn't actually about kiss. It was about a TV show. But as soon as I saw the Vinny name, I said I have to put it up there. So that's one of the reasons why I did it. So yeah, a kiss statement, but Vinnie Vincent fans, we're not taking a piss out of well, we're not picking on Vinnie Vincent. It's just something funny, and you can take it or leave it. But David, I want to mention this week's topic before we go into that. We got over 8,000 views on YouTube channel of all the episodes since we started, and up to 57 subscribers. So please subscribe to us on YouTube. I believe there's something different for YouTube now, that you got to have a Google Plus account to be able to comment on our thing. So please, fans, create yourself a Google Plus account, and that will allow you to comment on not just our episodes, but anything that you see on YouTube. Now they changed the regulations now, so just want to mention that. But yeah, 8,000, over 8,000, we're almost up to 9,000 views all up on YouTube, and 57 subscribers. So we're rolling and we'll keep rolling the dice. And this week is no different. People are saying, "Oh, why haven't you had an episode this week?" Well, this one's delayed. We are going to get this out as quick as we can.
So we would have had an episode, but one person involved with this podcast locked themselves out of their house on the day that we were supposed to do the episode. So not looking at it, not looking at anyone around here.
Yeah, well, the real story is that he was sacked from the last episode from Gene Simmons on the Steve Cornell. That means he's lost the privileges of getting inside his own house, Gene taking away his own house and all that, and he was caught and stuck out in the rain. He got himself drenched in the rain, and he had a shower out on his carport. He was singing in the rain as well. He was telling me about it, that he had a shower at the front, so neighbours next door was probably taking photos, so I don't know. But yeah. But no, David, I want to pass it over to you. We were talking about different topics, and I know there's a topic that we agreed on. Well, we spoke about 2 hours beforehand and whatnot, and just trying to come up with an episode. But there's a lot of things happening in the kids world, but you've picked one out that thought, why not we just go along this track a bit and see where it can lead.
We were talking about if Kiss were to do a residency or choose an album to do in its entirety, to record it like Megadeth did with the Rust in Peace album, and also with the Countdown Extension. Slayer did it with Rain and Blood, and Def Leppard just recently did it with the Hysteria album. I was thinking, what album would you consider, would you like Kiss to consider to do as in its entirety and record it for a live DVD, Blu-ray album? And yeah, so what do you reckon, Jamie? What album would you say?
Well, the reason why we onto this subject,
it
was mainly Def Leppard doing Viva Hysteria, the best album of '87 or in the '80s was Hysteria, and they did the whole entire album from front to back, but in different nights. I had about 9 or 10 shows at the Las Vegas Casino Residency Act.
Yeah.
And also they were their own warm-up band. They changed their name from Def Leppard to Dead Firebird. And I just
no, it was Dead. No,
Yeah,
Because
Def Leppard. Yeah, it was Def Leppard. Def Leppard.
apparently because some dude used to I don't know mistakenly called used to think their name was Dead Flatbird at one stage, so
But yeah,
they decided to use that.
they were taking the piss out of themselves, and
Yeah,
everyone knew it was Def Leppard, but they were taking the piss out of themselves singing Def Leppard songs. So
and they gave themselves each
yeah.
different names and all that in the
So
band.
I thought, well, the Kiss have done a residency show before, but they haven't actually focused on one album. Like Metallica did, I think last year, the Black album over in
Yeah, well,
America.
they actually did two albums because when they did the Orion Fest, they actually on the first night they did, and they did them from back to front. So they started with the last song of the album, ended up with the first. But on the first night of the Orion Fest, they did Ride the Lightning, and then on the second night they did the Black album. Um, but they did more of the Black album. They did more of a tour with the Black album. Did the
Yeah.
Black album.
And there was a rumour that this
Two.
Soundwave this year, that when they came to Australia this year, they were going to do the Black album, but it never happened. That was the rumour.
Yeah, they were rumored, but as you know, Lars is the set guy
Yeah.
for Metallica, but so he kind of has most to say on the sets. Um, but getting back onto the band at hand,
Yeah.
to me, it can be either one of three. Probably three or four albums that they could do. Obviously, Destroyer. That would probably be the most obvious one that they do, and because they could start off, do say 4 or 5 songs beforehand, then get maybe a solo or two before it, then go into the whole intro into Detroit Rock City where it sounds like Gene is a reporter and all that. That, do the album, then do a couple of other, for another 4 or 5 songs after doing the album. So, but Destroyer, other ones I reckon would have to be The Elder could be considered, even though they haven't really played many of those songs live ever, except for obviously The Eighth Eye and World Without Heroes.
Yeah.
Or even, I'd like to see maybe Revenge done in its entirety, and even and which would kind of be cool because if when it gets to the end and you get to Car Jam 1981, and it'd be awesome to see like as a tribute to Eric and have Eric Singer doing the solo that part, and then have image on the screen behind us images of during the whole solo images of Eric Carr throughout the years and all that, just as a tribute to Eric to finish off that part of the set where they do Revenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so that was what was a very eye opener with Def Leppard when they did it. They just did like 7 songs per night off the Hysteria, and they just jam packed it into their DVD catalog. But the warm up, they played all the other rarities and hit songs. I reckon
When they were performed as Dead Flatbird, yeah.
so I reckon that's what Kiss should do, is do the unmake-up stuff in like a warm-up type of thing. And I mean, don't do what they did for a Live 35. When we spoke about what happened with the Live 35, it wasn't actually about Kiss Alive.
Yeah, the only thing with Kiss doing like a set beforehand is that they have to get the makeup on and the costumes and all that. It takes them over like some of them. Or Paul's ready in about 40 minutes,
Yeah.
but the others or the other three or whatever, it takes a lot longer. So if they were to do it, they'd have to do it like a festival or something where they could maybe do a rarity set earlier on in the day and then allow a bit of time for them to get the makeup on, and then do the main set at night, sort of thing. So
There's,
yeah, but
there's an album I would love them to do from front to back. That's a
I mean, they could do the rarities if they were going to do like an album thing. Maybe do the whole album in the middle of the set, then have to the some of the rarer stuff at the start and the finish before they do the album thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, with Def Leppard, they did about 9 songs per night from the Hysteria album, and they just
Yeah.
compact it. But if Kiss was going to follow that same line, just play 8 songs or whatnot from the album, because most of them have about 8 to 10 songs on it, except for Hot in the Shade, which have about 15 songs or 16 songs on it. But
Yeah.
the other album I would love them to do from front to back, Creatures of the Night.
Yeah, Creatures to be a one to see. Yeah, with the issues that we've talked about before,
Hmm.
especially on I Still Love You, um, about hitting the high parts,
Yeah. So
whether,
if we go to the 70s stuff, because that's where the magic is, yes, Destroyer.
yeah, it'd been probably more successful if they did it with a 70s album,
Hmm.
whether they do it with Destroyer or Love Gun or even the first album.
Well, this is
Uh,
the thing.
yeah,
Would you like to see them focus on an 80s album, because the 80s complimentary songs that they've done has basically
it,
been put on the back burner. They don't really touch any of the 80s material. Even the 90s.
except for maybe Heaven's on Fire or
Yeah, well, even
Look
that
It
is
Up.
not. Even saying that, that's not really performed well now due to poor vocals and that. But at least they're giving it a shot. But what I'm saying, if they want to do a residency act of a certain album, if you
Mm.
picked an 80s album, which one would you pick?
An 80. Oh, if they were gonna do it on an 80s album. Ooh, I'd like either. Geez, yeah, I'd say Look It Up. Look It Up. And then you got on the eighth day, All Hell's Breaking Loose. I'd love to see them play that live again. Or, Exciter.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
posted a video clip of Exciter played over in Germany on our podcast page,
yeah,
and that was
that
pretty
was,
cool.
yeah. I mean, that would be a good album, great album to do if they were going to do an 80s album.
Mm.
Uh,
But with Paul Voice at the moment, I reckon if they were going to go that way, and I don't think it should work, but if they were going to go that way, the only one that will probably suit Paul's voice at the moment from the 80s is Unmasked.
yeah, well, at least then you can still get, Tommy singing Torpedo Girl.
Mm.
Uh,
Two sides of the coin.
Maybe they, I mean, if they would do it, like an album, do it kind of like Dream Theater,
But
in
that's the
some way
thing.
like Dream Theater used to do with tribute albums,
Yeah.
tribute to an album and all that, playing albums. A tribute album like when Dream Theater did Master of Puppets in its entirety, or a number of the Beast and all that.
I mean, if you look at the 80s, there's no really song that Eric Singer can sing, because Eric Carr didn't really sing a lead vocal in the 80s.
Yeah, except for Hot in the Shade,
Yeah, which was 89. Yeah.
80, which is at the end of the 80s. Yeah, when he did
Little Caesar.
Little Caesar. Yeah. Live he did. Live when he did Young and Wasted and Black Diamond and all that during the 80s, but on record, yeah, he didn't. They didn't get him singing until Hot in the Shade, which is
Mm.
a shame. I reckon they should have done it beforehand. And he's such a good, good singer in some ways. Has a little bit of that Gene quality in his voice
Mm.
as well. So it would have been nice for him to,
Yeah.
get
Well,
get on the vocals earlier than he did.
Well, see, I'm tossing up. If I was picking an '80s album for a residency act, there'll be two albums that I'll be tossing up. I will pick Creatures of the Night over Lick It Up due to the fact it's got a bit more of
Yeah.
a heavier
Well,
bass
and
song.
they could still have the makeup on. I
Well,
mean, it'd be it could be kind of weird.
well, with Lick
I
It
must
Up,
say, if they did a whole 80s or even 90s album without the makeup, with the makeup on, I should say.
yeah, well, people have been
The,
saying, oh, why don't they do a album and why don't they put in more songs? I mean, they haven't really touched on the '90s era as well. I mean, except for Psycho Circus, but Revenge, they hardly touched that with the Grand. Geico Rock and Roll to You've been played up to Sonic
the
Boom
2000, were they
90.
playing it? Did they play um, God Gave on Sonic Boom tour? Did
Yeah,
they?
at Rock and Ring, yeah, just before the last one.
Ah, that's right, they did too.
Yeah, but
Forgot about that.
I mean,
So I
I'd
was
love
thinking
them to do.
before that I think the last time they played God Gave was Rock the Nations.
Yeah, but if they were going to do a '90s album, if they were going to do a residency act on a certain album from the '90s, Revenge. But
Yeah.
people will say, well, alright, let them play Carnival of Souls. I reckon they can't do it anymore, not with Paul Voice.
No.
But yeah, the
And,
three albums or four albums that I'd like them to do will be, well, there's five. Destroyer, Love Gun,
yeah.
The Older.
I reckon even the first album in its entirety. It'd be kind of appropriate, um, since they're saying that it's the 40th anniversary. They're celebrating the 40th next in 2014 because it'll be 40th year since the first album came out. If they're going to do an album in its entirety, the first album in its entirety in sequence.
Yeah. But with the bands that do the residency act, they actually pull out the best album that they ever recorded. Now, that's a debate. Would you pick Pyromania better than Hysteria?
Well, I mean, it's not. It's probably it was Hysteria. Hysteria was probably their most successful album.
Yeah.
That's why they did it. Is on that album.
Well, say that
Uh,
footprint album with Kiss will definitely have to be Destroyer.
yeah, yeah. The thing with that is when they did the symphony tour, they brought the Australian Children's Choir out to sing the backing vocals on Great Expectations. Uh, whether they, I wouldn't want to see them do it with the whole album with the symphony. Well, actually no, actually that would be that thinking about it just then, that would be kind of cool if they did the whole album in its entirety with the symphony. And as we know, they've been talking about doing symphony things again. Maybe that's gives them the opportunity to do the whole Destroy album in its entirety with the symphony and do like because even Flaming Youth and Sweet Pain would sound pretty cool with the symphony going. Um, so that actually would be pretty good.
Yeah, and we were talking about before the other good album that would do well with a symphony will be The Elder. Because it mainly is an orchestrated concept
Yeah,
album. So,
yeah.
but would you go for like an in the round type of performance as a residency act? Because we were talking about it
Oh,
before.
yeah, well, not not if they're going to do it like in Las Vegas, like the joint where same place where
Def Leppard.
Def Leppard did it. You can't really do. If they're doing it in an arena type show, then yeah, I'd love to see some sort of an in the round sort of thing be done at some stage. Do a whole album thing with that, but that's probably another separate topic
Yeah.
we could talk about. But
But yeah, just like if Kiss was going to do a residency act on a certain album, there's 5 albums that I picked was
Yeah,
Destroyer, Love Gun, Elder,
yeah.
Creatures, and yeah, we'll go for
Revenge and revenge. Revenge. As I said, it'd be kind of cool when they get the end of it to have them pay tribute to Eric Carr.
mm,
Um, and in a by doing starting it with the whole band and then it lead into the drum solo and have while Eric Singer's doing playing have during the whole drum solo have images of Eric Carr doing the drum solo
yeah.
behind him
And
and
I,
all that.
I would
That'd
love to
be
see the
really
strippers.
cool.
I would love to see the strippers come back on, but if they got it up
Yeah,
on the video,
we know that's not gonna happen.
no. Well, if they do it up on the video screen, I'll be right because we were talking about before. When was the last time Jane and Paul had bras and panties on their neck of the guitar?
Yeah,
It's been a while, and things have changed. And
yeah,
I did say to you, Dave, that I believe Kiss have softened their image to be more family orientated, but it wasn't like that when what I know about Kiss. But it's good.
yeah,
It's okay what they're doing, but yeah, that's what rock and roll's all about. Is getting all the girls and whatnot. But sometimes you just have to grow up, and yeah. But
yeah,
love to see all the songs from Revenge played like Paralyze and Heart of Chrome and Thou Shalt
yeah,
Not and Spit. But
yeah,
it goes back to the thing, and it's always a question mark. Paul's voice, will they do it? And the only 80s album that I can think that he can pull off pretty well will be Unmasked. But whether or not they'll do the Unmasked is another thing. But Unmasked will be more.
Unmasked if they were gonna say do it here.
Mm.
If they're going to pick their market for what album they're going to do, like as I said, Dream Theater used to say when they roll into a city, they do the normal show, and they're doing 2 night residency or 2 nights in one city. They'd do their normal show on night 1, night 2. They'd cover an album in its entirety, like Metallica's Master of Puppets or Iron Maiden's Number of the Beast. Do it that way. Maybe Kiss could apply the same sort of strategy. Sorry, listeners, just got a bit of a coffee, but and maybe say do Destroyer in America if they were to come here to Australia because Unmasked is such a huge album here in Australia.
Well, that's the question I was just about to ask you. Would you like to see Kiss do a residency act in every major city around the world?
Well, they couldn't do a residency in every city around the world, but they could
No,
sort of.
just saying like for Australia, it'll be like the Crown Casino, Las Vegas for America.
Yeah, Crown Casino, they couldn't fit the whole show in there, so it wouldn't be the
Well,
point.
that's the same with Def Leppard. They didn't actually fit the whole thing in. I mean, I don't think they'll be able to use a pyrotechnic.
Yeah, but Kiss's show's a lot bigger than Def Leppard's these
I
days.
reckon
So.
it'll be like the in-your-face type of intimacy show if they did a residency act. They wouldn't use the pyro. They wouldn't be able to use the rigs for the blood spit.
Well, you wouldn't see the spider stage inside the joint. Not even what it.
The Love Gun stage, the stairs coming down.
Yeah, kind of like the old, yeah.
You know?
If they do like a Love Gun, they were to do Love Gun, or even if they were to do Destroyer, and still have like the video screen thing, but have it like a version of the Destroyer stage with and all that.
Well, do what they
Make
did
it.
do what they did in Japan for the first time. They played there in a Destroyer album, but the Destroyer costume, but with the Love Gun stage setup.
Well, that was a tail end of the Rock and Roll Over tour. That one, but yeah, well, that's kind of cool.
The second part to this question is, if they do a residency act, what costumes do you think they should do? Do you think they should wear the same costume from that album.
Well, if they were going to do an album,
Now
yeah,
we're not talking about the 80s or 90s album. We're talking if they're doing a 70s album.
yeah, I don't, yeah, that'd be if they to tie it all in,
Hmm.
everything in. Yeah, they'd have to. If they were going to do Destroyer, then have the Destroyer costumes, Destroyer slash Sonic Boom.
Yeah.
Or sorry, Live
Live
35
35.
costumes on,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
sort of keep it all, tie it all in
Hmm.
with the concept of the album, that album.
But wouldn't
So
it be awesome if you had the revenge type of costumes on, but with actually makeup on? It wouldn't work. It
yeah,
wouldn't work.
no, it
It
would
wouldn't
work.
work. Nah, the revenge was more like a street look, and I don't think you want to have a street type of thing in a casino type of thing, would you? You wouldn't. You would love
Yeah,
to.
and then Eric would have to dye his hair back blonde.
But yeah, I'd just like to see some type of album to be played in its full entirety because one is just to see how developed with the band current lineup they've got now, how developed they can be. I mean, stories being said they can play any song from any era. Well, let's see if they can put their money where their mouth is and actually test themselves to play an album
A
live.
whole album, yeah, like
Front to back. I mean, they can re-record these albums in the studio. Anybody can do that. But to
yeah,
play it live in front of an audience where you get a couple of thousand people at a residency act, I mean, they don't have to travel anywhere. The bedrooms are upstairs, or the stage is down below. You know, it'll be easy. They've done it before. They've done a residency act before.
yeah.
You know, but the thing is, I believe, yeah, give him a shot. I mean, who knows what next year can bring for the 40th thing? They might do some residency act, but to play
Yeah.
an album in its entirety, like in arena shows, I want them to try and play for a 40th anniversary at least
Yeah.
a song from each album. You know,
Yeah.
but
Oh. I mean, they couldn't play 40 songs in one night.
well,
Because they'd be there for about about 4 or 5 hours.
well, if Bon Jovi, if Bon, oh no, not Bon Jovi, if or Bon Jovi plays almost 3 hours, but if Rolling Stones, and was I won't go into too much detail, but if they can play for 4 hours and they're all over 70 years of age,
Yeah, but with Paul's, Paul's voice, be able to
Paul's
4 hour show,
give more
4 hour
songs to
show.
Tommy, give more songs to Tommy and Eric. We know
Yeah,
about Paul's voice, but yeah, that's the only way it's going to happen if they give more songs to Tommy and Eric.
yeah.
But
So I think they're sort of going to stick with the hour 10, hour 50-minute shows and.
well, the way it played out, is that they are paid to play a particular role in Kiss, and they do it well. But to see what Eric did on the Revenge tour, playing he played absolutely wonders on that drum kit on the Revenge, especially the '95 tour down
Although
under.
I think he's kind of, I've heard him say before, he's learned to, regarding the way he used to play during the whole around '92 and all that with the whole Revenge thing, where he dub like on like going like where he'd double up and make things sort of heavy, like when he used to double up on the da 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 da, he'd double up with the snare hits with these kick drums. Like, but he kind of, as he said, he'd do what the song, service the song more than doing like fancy fills and all that sort of thing. But what the song needs more than trying to be flashy or anything.
But no, can you just imagine if they play Asylum in its entirety?
Oh, that'd be kind of cool. Kind of, but
Play King of the Mountain at the start, and yeah.
but it'd be kind. It'd probably be like a 70, like a makeup album they do if they did it in its entirety.
Yeah.
So anything up until say Creatures of the Night.
You just got me
Uh,
thinking. If they're going, here's a good thing. Here's a good idea.
yeah.
If they're going to do a residency act and plays an album in its entirety, like
Hmm.
from front to back, but they've got 9 shows at this casino gig. Would you like to see the 4 solo albums? Say Paul Night 1, Gene Night 2,
No,
Tommy Night 3.
three and four, yes, but we know which one I don't want to hear.
The Peter one.
No disrespect to Peter, but no thanks. I wouldn't want to hear that in its entirety. It's got some good songs on it, but not that whole album in its entirety.
So you have Gene just singing all the
Not
songs.
not with Kiss.
You have Gene singing all the songs night 2 and Tommy singing all 8 songs night 3.
Yeah, no, not solo albums.
No.
But
I just thought it was a good
I
idea.
I just think it would be a good idea if they were going to go that route and play a whole album, being that it's the 40th anniversary or of the first album coming out next year. Do the whole first album in its entirety from start to finish in sequence, and record it for a live DVD Blu-ray.
Well, you want Holland and Hell to be re-recorded, so why don't they do that live in the Rotationy act at the casino and then tape it like that?
No, because it's not the 40th anniversary. It'd just be nice. It'd be nice as a because it's the 40th anniversary of the first album next year. To do that, if they were going to do an album in its entirety, that would be the one, I reckon.
Well,
Although, yeah, Destroyer would be the most obvious one.
yeah, but there've been so many releases off his draw. Just recently, we had Resurrection last year.
We kind of we want to hold off on another Destroyer release, but the first album in its entirety.
I reckon Love Gun would be good.
Yeah. To celebrate the 40th anniversary of the first album.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. To have all those songs like that.
Would you put Acrobat in it? Even though it wasn't.
No. Love Theme from Kiss, yes. But not Acrobat. Yeah, well, Acrobat would be cool. But it wasn't exactly on the first album.
Yeah.
Love Theme from Kiss was, but not not Acrobat.
Well, there's another casino up in Sydney. We were talking about should kids do residential casino acts and put one in every major city. Well, you got the casino down in Melbourne called the Crown. What about the one up in Sydney, up at Star City?
Yeah, but Star City probably hasn't got a stage big enough for Kiss.
Like I said, you're not going to fit everything in a casino. If you just scale it back down to like they did on the Indian Place.
It depends on how big the stage is for how big
If you look at that Def Leppard one,
I mean, they could get away with it if they're going to do like a residency somewhere. Do it like the Enmore Theatre where they did the indie face shows, or the Palais Theatre here in Melbourne.
Yep. So they don't use any pyrotechnics. They don't use any.
Well, they could actually use some sort of pyrotechnics because when they did the indie face shows, and they did the one here, or at least the one here in Melbourne, they didn't use it. But I noticed it's I thought, because it's an old theatre and all that, they didn't want to use it. But then I went and saw Motley Crue played there as well, and they were using pyro like they did Shout at the Devil, and they had this thing at the top of the amps. The whole top of the amps was like on fire. The top of the amps. I thought, hang on, pyrotechnics.
Yeah.
I didn't think they would be allowed to have any. Yeah, they did. So they could probably use, depending on what sort of pyro they were going to use. And
I reckon they should go back to the original way, use the original flash spots that they had when they started.
Yeah.
You know, they had different flash spots, but we know that Kiss is not a Kiss show without pyrotechnics, but due to the laws and regulations of fire safety, if there's
Yeah.
a, a ceiling or a roof that is lower than it's supposed to, you're not.
Yeah,
If it,
the only thing with like say the Palais Theatre here in Melbourne, I think my wife was telling me about they've got a thing where if there's a fire in like the in the Palais, the roof can open.
the roof can open, yeah.
Yeah, the roof above the stage can open and all the but but yeah, they could use some sort of pyro, but yeah, but they, they'd have to be work with the fire marshal to see what sort of
Yeah.
pyro they could use in there.
Well, there's a lot of things that Kiss could do as well. But yeah, we're just mainly focused on an album if they're going to do a whole album. And
Yeah,
we are talking about studio albums here. We're not talking about live albums or whatnot. We're talking about studio albums and
studio. Yeah,
yeah,
so they wouldn't do say a live Kiss Alive in its entirety, although
it'll be like
they
a great
kind of
yeah.
the kind of that's what they said they were kind of going to do on the Live 35 tour, but it was based around the set list of live Kiss Alive on that tour, but they didn't play the whole Kiss Alive in its entirety. They just based the set around it.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I myself, if they were going to do it, I'd say the first album for if they were going to do it next year, it would just tie in with the whole 40th anniversary of the first album.
And we're not saying they are doing a residential show. This is just
No.
yeah,
It's just
yeah,
that we're working on hypotheticals here.
yeah.
People.
Because
So
Kiss, we do know that Kiss did a residential show before, but it was I think it was around the Hit and Run tour or Rock the Nation tour in America, or it could have even been just before the Sonic Boom tour. They did a residential act. Remember that tour where they got the fans to vote for a song and All American Man got voted? I think it was that the tour, the Hit and Run tour. They did a residential act.
okay.
I know they did a couple on the Rock the Nation tour up in America. They played at some casino gigs.
Yeah.
This one, even the tour, Monster tour, Verona was a little intimate one. It wasn't a casino, but it looked like a casino. It only fit like about 5,000 to 9,000 people.
Yeah.
And but yeah, David, I'm going with like I've got 6 albums now. But yeah, the first album should be played in its full.
Yeah, for the 40th anniversary,
Yeah.
and record it for a DVD Blu-ray too, because I mean, I think they're long due for another DVD Blu-ray release. Where hopefully getting a little bit off the track here, if Kissology comes out, 4 comes out, they bring it out on Blu-ray as well. So
let's just talk for 5 minutes on Kissology. We have a report, and I won't mention who said this, but we had a little bit of a thing that the Kissology talk was coming. New talk was coming out that it is coming out. Kissology Falls is coming out. When? Well, people are saying December, next month. People are saying at the start of early next year.
yeah, if it's going to come out in December, which is basically from tomorrow, we would have got promo for it already by now.
Yeah. Whether or not that Kiss were actually recording this year on the Kiss cruise, I haven't heard a report if they were actually filming it, because the last 2 Kiss cruise, they had a video screen behind the Sail Away concert. Well, this year, so there was no actually video screen behind the Kiss on the Sail Away concert this year. The first 2 they did on the acoustic set, but this year they didn't. So I don't know if Kiss was filming this year or not, but it sounds pretty off track if they didn't do it this way, because most of them, especially what I saw in Kiss Online from Keith LaRoux, he was up near the sound deck, video recording the songs and that, and yeah, normally you'll see some type of video camera guy.
Usually, if they're going to actually properly record it for a live concert, a Blu-ray, DVD Blu-ray release, there'd be professional cameras there.
Yeah. But I actually thought they were going to do
multicams.
Yeah. I actually thought they were going to do. Well, just while we're on this topic, we're going to get off this topic very shortly. They should have done a complimentary best of Kiss cruise. Then we're up to the fourth one next year. Maybe they are doing it after the fourth one, but have all the Kiss cruises in a complimentary type of thing, all the bits and pieces, and yeah, just do like a Kiss cruise thing for the people that can't afford to get on it. Just put it all in like a box set type of thing, and be like a chronology of different Kiss cruises. But going back on topic, yeah, we got the first album, Destroyer. Even though we had a resurrection, if they're going to do it and record it for a Blu-ray release, well maybe. But I think we've got too much Destroyer at the moment. Too much of it. But yeah, I would go with Love Gun, The Elder, Creatures of the Night, and also Revenge. If they want to do Monster or Sonic Boom, well, they can do that too. But
I think that if they were going to do it, it'd have to be a classic Kiss album. And to tie it in with the 40th anniversary, the first album I think would be kind of appropriate if they were going to do every song in sequence from start to finish. And they can do before that other songs, and then after it they can do other songs as well. Do it in the middle.
Well, sorry, Dave. Just one question till we say our goodbyes and our farewells on this episode. If they were going to play the first album, did you want them to have that same costume they wore? Well, we spoke about it earlier on in the topic. If you pick an album, do you want to pick that same costume? So if you pick the first album, will you want them to redesign the same costume they wore, like for the Coventry or the Daisy or something like that?
I suppose. Be nice, or a version of it, of those costumes.
Well, Gene and Paul said it's never going to be the same like the were back in the days. So.
Yeah, or they could do like a version of those costumes, and be nice for them to bring out the candelabra. Again.
And the skull and crossbones, and
I'll have that. Be nice to sort of have a version of that sort of stage, but that was just a basic stage anyway, really. The back line and the Kiss logo, the drum riser. It was pretty sort of a basic sort of stage anyway.
Well, just scale it right back and let's go back to the Stone Age basically, and just use all the type of techniques that Kiss had back in 1972, 73 when they first started out. Scale it right back, charge the fans like $1 to $2. Hey, let's make enough money, they can put on a show for free. We'll do it for the fans.
Or is it like an in joke here? Is it like having beer at genuine 1972 prices?
Or do a gold coin donation, and every dollar goes to the Wounded Warriors Project. They did it over in America with a ticket, but do a gold coin donation. Auction off stuff and whatnot. But Residency Act. They've got so many albums they choose from, but I reckon I'm with you, Dave. They should do a classic. And there's two classics in the 70s. That's
Destroyer and the first album
and Love Gun. But if they want to go right back to the start, well, you have to do the first album.
It's the anniversary thing in nicely actually. To do if they were doing the whole album, to try the first one and do it as a live DVD, Blu-ray, CD release, and because as I said, they're long overdue for another, like DVD, Blu-ray, something on a long form video type release. because they haven't done one. When was the last one? The last official one was when did Kissology 3 come out?
What, for a DVD release?
hmm
Yeah,
that was the last one, wasn't it?
well, for Kiss, yes, but just
Yeah.
recently, Gene Simmons' Family Jewels, but that's not a Kiss thing.
But I mean official
Yeah.
Kiss release.
Yeah, Kiss was, yeah,
Yeah, it would have been
Kissology
Kissology
3.
3.
That was 4 years ago.
Yeah, so
Three,
they're
4
long
years.
due for one. To have that in there that album in its entirety would be kind of cool and tie the whole 40th anniversary in really well.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, they
Then
could.
they could feature like that album's in its entirety in the main part of like the DVD Blu-ray, and then have as bonus and the bonus features have the other tracks that they played at the show
Yeah.
or shows.
Do what they
Um,
do what they did with the Viva Hysteria, where they played the other rarity sings or not one and two.
although that one they did play the whole album in the main part of the, well, in my case,
The
Blu-ray.
second part.
No, but they in that no, when they played that whole album's entirety at the end of that one, they did play Photograph and Rock of Ages at the end of it. But on I was thinking more like the Slayer when Slayer did Rain and Blood, or it was called Still Raining, the DVD, where they played that whole album in its entirety, and then in the bonus tracks was most of the other songs that they had played at that show.
Yeah.
So as in the bonus features.
Well, see, in the bonus features on the Hysteria one, the night 1 and 2 are Dead Blackbird. Those songs were played before the Hysteria stuff.
Yeah, and
They
then
had about a
they had the curtain
had
drawn.
about a 40-minute break in between to get changed and get freshened up. But
Yeah.
seriously, I can't see that's happening with Kiss unless
No, not unless they have two or three bands between them and their main set, so it allow them to get all the makeup and costumes on and professed and ready and all that. So you have to have like basically four different sets, and two of them other bands in between them.
Do back in the 70s, do 2 shows a day. Do one in the afternoon and one at night.
Yeah,
And just do different songs. I mean, but still have the main focus to do the whole album.
yeah.
And because even if they just put like
I kind of want them just to do it all in, not like the Def Leppard way, because they can get away with it because they don't have to put all the makeup and stuff on like Kiss does, but more to do it like say like a Megadeth and Slayer did, where they sort of did the album and then had the album when they did it. They had the album, did the whole album in the middle of the set, then had songs either end of it.
Yep.
Then when they put it to like DVD and Blu-ray, then have the album as the focus of the DVD, and then have all the other tracks in the bonus features, sort of thing, and do it that way. Doing the way Def Leppard were able to get away with it because of what they didn't. I mean, they didn't have to wear makeup, so it's not as much preparation for them. Kiss wouldn't be able. To be honest, Kiss wouldn't be able to do it that way because of the whole makeup and costumes thing.
Yeah. But I just thought, why don't we just talk about it? The what if?
Yeah.
Because they haven't done a full album yet.
Full album this entirety. They almost did it at Kiss Symphony, but a couple of songs. But it was at Flaming Youth and Sweet Pain. I don't think the only ones that didn't get played on the night. They did Beth in the set before. And the rest of they did basically the rest of Destroyer in the symphony set. but to it'd be nice to have that album in its entirety with Sweet Pain and Flaming Youth in the set as well. So yeah, or at some stage, but first off, if I were going to do it next year, then the first album in its entirety.
Well, Dave, we're about to wrap up almost, but you want to throw the question out to the fans and get them interested and get
Yeah.
them talking?
Well, just like you to tell us if Kiss were to do an album's entirety from start to finish, uh, what album would you choose? Uh, what album would you like them to see do in its entirety and make a DVD, Blu-ray, CD release of it? Because as we know, it's long overdue for another long form concert video release.
Yeah.
So and yeah,
And
right, put it up. Uh, we'll put it up as something about it on our Facebook page, and we'll like your feedback. Tell us your choices
yep.
and why.
Yes.
Why would you like to see them do it?
And be realistic. We know the problem with Paul's voice is a problem and that, but be realistic. If you can pick any song, any album, but be realistic that there's certain albums that Paul probably won't be able to do due to his vocal ability. But put them in there if you think you like to.
Anyway, yeah.
If you like to get that album to be played, and yes, it will have to be in makeup. They will have. Sorry, I'll say it again. They will have to perform that album in makeup. Whether it's an 80s or 90s album, they will have to play it in makeup. But what album, like David was saying, to play from front to back. Now, have the same concept that Def Leppard had. They didn't play the whole album from start to finish every single night. They just added the songs in. They had 9 shows there at a residency act, and they just added the songs in. But none of the songs got played the same as the night goes on. They had to go out. And David, just before we wrap up, Mug of the Week, we are getting the cups done, and those guys are going to get one. I did say that Steve Cornell is getting one because he was the guest when we first started out the Mug of the Week, and I'm getting that done. And Steve is coming your way, and the first one was Eric and that gave us. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Dave. We better get cruising. The guys know what to do. They should know what to do by now. Go to our Facebook page, go to our YouTube page, and go to our iTunes and Twitter.
Yeah.
You'll see all of the episodes. And please, listeners and fans, get interactive with us. Leave your views, leave your comments, even if you like us. Just let us know because.
Or don't.
Or
if you don't like us, but not too nasty.
Yeah, if you don't like us, just be respectful. You can say whatever you say, but like I said, that other comment that was on that page, we won't tolerate that. People being warned. So I will laugh at anything. I'm very sensitive humorous and that, and I will be a smart ass now and again to comment back, but I'll have to pull my head in too to be professional. I'll say this: what I say on the page and what David did, we will look at it, and if it is degrading or not degrading, but you know what I mean. Very down-putting. We won't warn you this time. We'll permanently block you and delete you from the page so you can never access it again. We don't want to do it, but it comes to the point now that we just have to do it. All right. Well, that's what we will say on that. Leave us your feedback, leave your comments, do your Krazy Knights round table question. What album you like to them?
What album do you like to see Kiss do in its entirety and make it as a long form Blu-ray, DVD, CD, every letter every letter under the alphabet, A, B, C, as Gene used to say at one stage. And put it up on the page. We'll make the status up on the page about it, and leaves your comments and say why you want that album, played
Yeah.
in its entirety.
Yeah.
Uh,
And should they
and
play in the same costume off that album when it came out too?
the costumes, the staging. What your thoughts are on the staging of the costumes if they were to do the album of your choice. Um, and just leave us your feedback on that.
Yep. All right, guys. You know what to do, and we'll be back next week on Krazy Nights with another episode. And keep rocking and keep believing in yourself. Rock on.